Happy Cyhawk Series weekend and welcome into our Week 2 pregame show. Once again, I'm Mary-Kate Harrian and here with me is our pregame editor, Courtney Bauman. Well, Court, on to Week 2 and it's rivalry week, if you even call it that anymore. So my first question is it a rivalry?
I mean, it's always going to be a rivalry. It's Iowa, come on. Everyone's always going to choose one side or the other. There's not going to be some person that's split down the middle. It's always going to be Iowa or Iowa State. So yes, of course, it's still a rivalry.
You know, and even walking around campus, I think everyone's spirits are up and they're all excited, you know, beat State or whatever Iowa State says about us. But let's start off the show with just your thoughts on last week. Who or what were you most impressed with?
Most obviously the defense. You know, Josie Jewell had a phenomenal game. He's been awarded 4 different things this week. And the rest of the defense did really well too. The defensive line did a great job of letting the linebackers go outside. The secondary did really well. Even the offense, which we weren't sure about, you know, with the quarterback situation, did pretty well. So I think all around I was impressed in general.
Yeah, I mean, I was very happy for Stanley. You know, in the beginning, it was very slow, but you could tell towards the end, you know, we scored 24 points, which I did not expect from our offense. And after not giving them a lot of praise last week, I will give it to them this week. I will say good job, but our defense especially, taking on the offense that they took on and just how well they did. Our linebacking core is unreal. And speaking of our linebacking core in the Iowa defense, Josie Jewell had a phenomenal day against Wyoming, just like Courtney said, and got some honors this week as well. He was named Walter Camp National and Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. He had 14 tackles, which then combined with Bo Bauer's 11 tackles, Ben Neiman's 13 tackles, which made up for a total of 38 tackles between just the 3 of them. So does this set the tone for what we're expecting to see from our linebacking core this season?
I definitely think so. They're all seniors, a great group that has been playing together for a long time. They've all seen plenty of game time. Josie has started 30-plus consecutive games. Bo has been in there for the past few seasons, same with Ben. As long as the defensive line continues to play as well as they did last week, I think that this will definitely be a regular thing for the linebacking group.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them take on and just get better each week in every game. But Josh Jackson, how about him? Had a phenomenal game, in which I was not that I wasn't expecting it, but it was just nice to see him go out there and have the game that he had. We're going to move it over to offense now. You good with that?
For sure.
All right, so let's move on to Stanley. Finally got his first start out of the way on Saturday, and you know what? I think he held his own out there. You know, 0 passing yards until mid-second quarter, which is not the best, but he still threw for 3 touchdowns, and I think he looked like once he calmed down a bit, and he took command out there and became a bit of a leader. So what do you think about it?
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, he did have his troubles holding onto the ball, but that could be due to the fact that he hasn't been hit for 2 years. He hasn't been hit since his senior year of high school. So I think as the season progresses, he'll definitely learn how to hold onto the ball a little bit better. But yeah, he made some great passes to Noah Fant and to Nick Easley. And even when they weren't so great, they made up for it. They easily had a nice behind-the-back catch there too. So it was fun to see how that offense was really starting to click with each other.
Yeah, and you know, even though Stanley fumbled a couple times, his offense just stood, the way they picked him up, you know, patted him on the back, they understood his nerves, they understood it. So, you know, but now we're going to his first away game, and it's at Iowa State. It's a very hostile environment. So do you think that is going to have an effect on how he plays?
I really don't think so that much. You know, they've been there, they've done that so much that they know how to block out that extra noise. Walking from the bus into the stadium, they all have their headphones on, they've all seen it before. And they said, although it is Iowa State, they've gone into hostile environments plenty of times. Even though Stanley may not have played, actually, I think that he does know how to block out that noise, and I think he'll do just fine.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I do think the nerves will be there. I'm hoping the nerves for him just get less and less by the weeks. But I feel like once he gets in there and he starts playing, you know, all his teammates talked about on Tuesday how calm he is and how he never looks nervous or he never seems like out of place or anything like that. So I'm excited to see how he is out there and to take command, and I'm sure he has some confidence after last week as well. So now let's move over, though, to the wideouts. Matt Vandenberg had 16 receptions for 243 yards and 2 touchdowns in his last 2 meetings with the Cyclones. Are you expecting something similar tomorrow? Because I am.
I would be excited to see him play, definitely, because, you know, like you said, he has had 2 incredible games against the Cyclones over the past 2 seasons. He wasn't targeted that much. over the past game, but, that could definitely change, and I think it will as we progress through the season. He will get targeted more. He will get the chance to catch the ball and run with it. He did a great job punt returning. He had a couple of nice returns there, so I am excited to see him play this week.
Well, Matt's teammates and coaches also feel the way you do. They are definitely looking for him to do some big things tomorrow. Take a look.
Matt Vandenberg, he's a great leader on the team. He's a captain, and every time, he always tuned in and he always lead by example and he's vocal. And he's been working hard along with everybody else. He's been teaching the wide receivers a lot of things. He even taught me a few things.
For sure, he's got a lot of experience in games like this. So I think his demeanor and his attitude that he has preparing for this game is something that I can learn from.
He's a good football player, and when he can go, he goes. And he's got one speed, and he's had that since he got here. He was really skinny when he got here, but he's growing into a adult football player now, and he's a good football player. We're better when he's out there playing for us.
Now on Tuesday, a lot of the guys talked about what this game really means to them, especially all the Iowa players.
Yeah, so many of the guys on the team are from Iowa. More than half of them are. So they've grown up with this. They've seen the games. So this does have a lot of meaning to them.
Really just being part of a series like this one, it's such a big deal to everyone in the state. The hype around it and everything, it's really exciting. So
we grew up with this rivalry in state, but all those out-of-state guys, we've just kind of made sure they understand what it's about, what it means, and Coach France does a great job about explaining that to us. And
yeah, there was always that growing up. The state's kind of you got. It depends where you're at in the state, I guess you could say. Some people like a certain team, and some people don't. So it's always differentiating. You never know who's going to like who, and you've always seen that growing up.
Coach Ferentz always stresses this game. It's a big rivalry game, big trophy game. But we're just coming out and doing the same thing that we always do, preparing the same way, and just trying to come out and get better every day.
So, Court, we talked earlier in the beginning of the show, is this really a rivalry anymore? And to me, hearing from these players, it obviously still is. Some of these guys have grown up going to the Cy-Hawk Series games or just watching them on TV. But when Matt Nelson talked about both of his parents going to Iowa State, it's special to him.
It's big. It's a fight for the state of Iowa. Iowa State's a big rivalry. My parents actually went to Iowa State, so it's kind of raised in an Iowa State household, but I've been converted since. You've always known Iowa State, now you're nothing but Iowa, so it's a lot of fun, though.
So I think maybe if you're not from Iowa, it may mean a little less, but to these Iowa guys, it is a huge weekend for them.
I think even still for the guys that aren't from Iowa, they do know what it means coming in here right away because, if you think about some guys that aren't from Iowa, Nathan Stanley, Akram Wadley, James Butler, Akram Wadley actually talked about his first state week, and he said that he noticed that when he was on the scout team his redshirt year that those guys they were hitting him harder. They were amped up. They were ready to go for this game.
And you could tell, too, some of them, the out-of-state players were just saying, Kirk really makes you know what this game means to the state and to bring back home that Cy-Hawk trophy. But prediction time. Last week, I was wrong. You were right. Congratulations, you're 1-0. But what do you think is going to happen this week?
I'm taking Iowa again here. Just the way the defense played, I think they're going to have not maybe an easy time, but I think they'll do well against Iowa State's offense, even though they did have a high-powered week. They had over 400 yards last week against UNI. But still, I think that the defense should be able to shut them down pretty quickly and that the offense will start to click even a little bit more.
So I learned my lesson last week betting against Iowa. It was not a good, it was bad, it was a mistake, all right? But I am going to go that they are going to get the win as well. I'm so excited to see Matt Vandenberg out there. I think from his track record with Iowa State, this is a big game for him, and I'm excited to finally see him out there. There wasn't a lot of attention on him last week, so hopefully there is this week, and I'm excited to see Nick Easley play. He had a great game, and this game means a lot to him. And I'm excited to see Stanley play again. I keep hoping that it just gets better and better, each week for him. But kickoff in Ames will be at 11:01 a.m. and will be broadcast on ESPN2. But stay with Daily Iowan and Daily Iowan TV for all of your updates from the game. And hopefully the Hawks will be bringing back that Cy-Hawk trophy right back here to Iowa City. But that's it for us from here in the pregame studio. Court, thanks for being here, and we'll see you guys right back here next Friday.